Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Now, one of my favorite vegetables for the vegetable garden is actually a fruit. Yes, tomatoes. And let's be honest, we've been growing tomatoes, and they've been around forever. And we've been doing some of our own breeding, and we have been going and creating old varieties, new varieties, etc. But there's a lot of tomatoes out there with different forms of shapes, color, stripes, you name it, it's out there. Even different tastes as well as different ripening times. So tomatoes can be a very confusing crop to grow and yet so rewarding. I know that in our garden it predominates tomatoes and varieties like you would not believe. This book called Epic Tomatoes, How to Select and Grow the Best Varieties of All Time by Craig LaHollier, and it is published by Story. Now, this book covers the history of tomatoes. In other words, the origins of today's tomatoes. It covers the anatomy of tomatoes, planning and planting, growing, maintenance, care, how to harvest, when to harvest. How about breeding your own tomatoes? It covers it in here. Troubleshooting. Now, this is probably one of the best sections I've ever seen on troubleshooting pests and diseases for tomatoes. Full color pictures. And if you're not sure what it is, you page through here, you will find what's wrong with your tomatoes. Saving seeds for the future is also done. There's a Q&A section, and one of my favorite sections in this book is the 250 recommended varieties of tomatoes. 250 varieties? And that just barely scratches the surface of what there is available if you go looking and looking hard for tomatoes. Now, this book is well worth it because it's going to cover all types of growing, both the growing medium, containers, growing in the ground, growing in straw bales. You can grow it on fences. You can grow it on chain links. You can stake them. You can cage them. It's all covered in here. And this book called Epic Tomatoes, How to Select and Grow the Best Varieties of All Time is an excellent book. And I want you to go and pick this up. If you're interested in growing tomatoes, if you're just interested in eating tomatoes, you want to pick this one up because what happens is it goes and in that list breaks down the tomato varieties by a feature, such as red. Now, the flavor is also covered. So if you're looking for sweet, balanced, intense, mild, tart, you're going to find the tomato for you. So go for it. And they're calling Roma a mild tomato. Maybe that's why I always find it so acidic when they make sauce from it anyways. And much prefer Mariana's and San Mazzanos, even to fresh eat. So everybody is a little different, and you're going to have to find what you like best. Yes, that covers the different shapes, sizes, basically the ripening times, and the growth rate. Now, this indeterminate and determinate are very important because if it's indeterminate, it's going to keep going. And there are tree tomatoes out there which will easily need, by the end of the season, a step ladder for you, a 6-foot-tall person, to reach the top to pick the tomatoes. Yes, there are tomatoes like that out there. You have to go looking, and you can. Some of the great varieties, Golden Queen as well. There's some green tomatoes. There's yellow and orange tomatoes, pink tomatoes, red tomatoes, purple, the black tomatoes. You know the brown tomatoes, the green zebras, the storage ones, the ones that ripen by Christmas time. You pick them, you put them in a cool place in the dark, and by Christmas you're eating fresh tomatoes that are ripe, not like the store-bought ones. Yes, they're all in here. So if you're interested and you want a great book on growing tomatoes and tomato varieties, pick up Epic Tomatoes by La Jolla, and it's a great book published by Story. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.